So one of the reasons I started this YouTube channel was not only to kind of show people what goes on inside a furniture shop, but I also want to teach people kind of what makes good furniture. So today we're going to take a look at the Mortise and Tenon joint, which is really one of the most important joints in any piece of furniture. It's kind of the backbone of furniture. What we've got here, check it out. We've got 4 joints that I've cut. We did this yesterday. I've got a video up showing how we made these, but you can see here we've got a machine cut Mortise and Tenon, hand cut Mortise and Tenon, and to make things interesting, I've included a dowel joint and pocket screws, which are kind of common knockoffs of the Mortise and Tenon, or cheap substitutes that you would find in kind of mass-produced furniture. Alright, so what I want to do real quick is kind of explain what the Mortise and Tenon is for those of you who don't really know. This is a chair, child's chair, and a child's desk for a local school here in Bernie. We're making 32 of these, and the chair is about 80% of the way done here. And you can see what you're looking at here. These holes are the mortises. Stand here and get a close up. So those are the mortises. And then these mating pieces are the tenons. So how this works is you just slide in and you, nope, that's not right. Turn that around. Just slide in and glue, and they really provide a really strong joint. You can see this is nice and snug. And with chairs, it's super important. You know, you really need good, solid joinery on chairs. But with the pieces we're working with today, they're kind of an imitation. This is our machine cut Mortise and Tenon. An imitation of this desk and how it's made. So you've got the leg here, which has the mortise in it, and an apron which has the tenon. Same thing going on in this piece we're going to test. These tenons in here are about 1 inch long by 2 1/4 wide and 3/8 of an inch thick. Okay, so here we go. We're going to start off with the pocket screws. I'm starting from what I think will be the weakest to the strongest. So I'm going pocket screws, dowel joint, the hand cut Mortise and Tenon, and the machine cut Mortise and Tenon. And we're going to go in 20-pound increments. So this is our first run of 20 pounds. Let's see what we got. Okay, another 20 pounds. Going for 40. Another 20, this is going to be 60. I think it's going to break, so I'm standing back. There. Yep. And that's it. Now let's just take a look at this. You can see the failure here. Just split the leg piece out. Didn't really provide much strength at all. Pretty weak. On to the dowel joint now. This actually has 2 3/8 inch thick dowels that are like 2 inches long each one. So start off with 20 pounds. And moving on now to the 20 is 40 pounds total. No problem with that. Here's another 20 for 60. Now this is where the pocket screws went out. 60 pounds. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. Threw the leg all the way over here. There it is. See, it actually broke that one dowel right in half. I'm going to turn that around. So, and the glue failed, it looks like, on the other one. Not very strong. Okay, so here we are doing the hand cut Mortise and Tenon. First 20 pounds. $40. This is another 20 going to 60. 60 pounds. Alright, so add another 20 to the hand cut Mortise and Tenon. Give us 80 pounds. Okay, that was the clamps. 80 pounds of sand. Okay, so what I've done, we've maxed out this first Home Depot bucket, so just added another one in closer to the joint, which, you know, obviously doesn't put as much leverage, but we can still get weight on it. And I can't imagine being able to fill this up with another 60 pounds of sand, but we'll find out. There's a start at 20. There's another 20 pounds. So I think something's going on. Here's the clamps. I'm going to correct myself from earlier. We have 80 pounds in this bucket and now have 20, so that's a total of 100 pounds hanging on this Mortise and Tenon joint right now. Alright, so we've got 100 pounds hanging right now. We're going to add another 20. Hoping to get up to 120 here, we'll see. Definitely standing back a little. So there's definitely a little bit of failure going on. I can see it pulling away. We'll see if we can go another 20. Alright, so unfortunately this one broke while I was getting more sand, so I did not get it on camera, the failure, but here it is, the aftermath of it. You can see the mortise has sheared that end grain. That's a 1/2 inch there, which you could probably go more like 5/8 or 3/4, even haunch that joint, and you would get more strength out of it. But you can see it sheared the fibers out and broke those, and they're still glued to the tenon piece right here. So hand cut Mortise and Tenon holds 120 pounds of sand, which is more than enough to keep a table alive for many years. Alright, so we're moving on to the last joint, the machine cut Mortise and Tenon. Kind of anxious to see how this one compares to the hand cut. So here we are starting off with 20 pounds. Let's hope it doesn't break. Nope. Alright, second 20 pounds, going for 40. The third 20 here, this is for 60 pounds total. This is number 4. This is 80 pounds. 80 pounds. So we'll have to add a bucket. Alright, so we got 80 pounds in the first bucket. We've moved on to the second bucket. That's 100 pounds. And this is probably about to break. For sure. Alright, so here we have the machined Mortise and Tenon, failed at 100 pounds. Actually left a piece of the tenon inside the mortise there. You can see it. There's the tenon. So I was a little unexpected. I thought it would go longer than the hand cut, but it didn't. It was 20 pounds less. Alright, so here we have all 4 of our test pieces. They've all failed. With the weakest, obviously, was our pocket screws at 50 pounds. Followed by the dowel joint at 60 pounds. And then the machined Mortise and Tenon failed at 100 pounds. And then our best of the 4 was the hand cut Mortise and Tenon, which held up 120 pounds of sand. Yeah, so it surprised me that the machine Mortise and Tenon failed before the hand cut. I thought it would do better. It's a little bit better glue surface with using the plunge router. But there are factors that could have caused it to not work as well. Maybe I didn't get quite as precise of a fit as was necessary. You know, when you have a hand cut joint, you usually have a much crude surface because you're using hand tools. But obviously the strength is still there, as we've proven. Regardless of the fact that, you know, the machine wasn't as good as a hand cut, they both hold 100+ pounds, which is plenty of strength for this table. You know, just sitting here in use, this table, it doesn't get much abuse or not much stress on the joints at all. But you know, where you have failure is as you move the piece, say you drag it across the floor, or you're just transporting it to another location, it gets dropped and it lands on a leg and it puts a lot of stress on the joint. That's usually how furniture gets broken. But with these joints, it would be very unlikely that you could break it. Even, I mean, just dragging it across the floor, it would be really hard to do. So I feel confident knowing that this desk could last, my lifetime. Definitely an heirloom piece of furniture. If you're buying a piece of furniture, I hope you've learned that if you look under and you see the pocket screws, you probably shouldn't buy that if you want it to last. More than likely, it's going to end up on your landfill, on your curb. If you think about it, if 50 pounds of strength, if you're dragging this across the floor and it catches a board, you could probably break that pretty easily. It's the same with dowel joint. This is very commonly used in factory furniture, and it is not a very strong joint, as we've proven. Half the strength of our strongest. So I hope you guys have learned something. I had a lot of fun doing this, and I will see you next time.